Hi, everybody. It's Dr. O, and this is today's Self-Care 5, where we take a few minutes to think about self-care issues. My opening quote for today is, "Eat like your life depends on it, because it does." So we're still talking about food and nutrition. I had asked the question, what are the major food categories of food? And I see it like this. There's the three macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins. And then there's one family of food that covers most of the micronutrients. And of course, here we're talking about things like vitamins and minerals, not just the energy found in food. And so these are what I see as the four major categories of food. And then when I ask myself, what foods are the most wholesome and nutritious? To me, the answer seems like the most wholesome and nutritious foods are vegetables, fruits, and beans. And so if you're going to eat like your life depends on it, then you would want to make sure that you're eating the most of these foods possible and thereby eating the least of less healthy foods. Now, I came up with this list. This is my personal list of the healthy dozen. When I think about all the different kinds of vegetables to eat, this is my list of the 12 healthiest vegetables, and I want to be sure that I'm eating as many of these vegetables as I can, as frequently as I can. And so this is where I'm going with this video. I'm trying to tell you about my system for eating nutritiously, and I hope it will give you some ideas for how you can improve your own diet. Now, the next question I asked is, which ways of preparing vegetables are the most wholesome? And I have this little ranked hierarchy here. To me, raw vegetables are the most wholesome because they haven't, the cooking process hasn't had a chance to leach any of the vitamins, minerals out of them or degrade the quality of the food. So if raw vegetables are the most nutritious, then lightly cooked vegetables, for example, when they've been stir-fried or sautéed or roasted, broiled, grilled, or steamed, these vegetables have only been lightly cooked. That's the next best level. After that is what I think of as cooked vegetables, and this is when they're cooked in something. For example, if you were to make a casserole, a stew, or a soup, and you would include vegetables in that dish, all the vegetables go in there and they stay in there. That's the next level. And then the least nutritious kind of vegetables is what I was joking around calling Southern style. As I said, I grew up in South Carolina, so I can make this joke. We eat a lot of Southern style vegetables there. These vegetables are well cooked. They're either fried or they're boiled. And the problem with this, there's two problems with this. When you boil a vegetable, a lot of the nutrients that are inside the vegetable, those nutrients then get into the water that they're boiled in. And then if you pour away the water, then you've poured away those nutrients. Same thing, or similar thing happens when you fry a vegetable. When you fry vegetables, you basically just add fats to them and you change, it's no longer a vegetable once you've fried it. It's actually more like a snack food or a junk food. Things like fried okra are not vegetables once they've been breaded and fried. So I asked the question, how can I be sure to get at least one great meal every day? And so I know that vegetables are the most nutritious and raw preparations are the best ways to prepare them. And so my goal every day is to eat a large salad at lunchtime that's made up of raw vegetables, including greens, carrots, tomatoes, and broccoli. And then I include a protein with that and then put on some dressing. So now that I've got lunch under my belt, I've had a big meal of raw vegetables. What's the next best meal I can eat? And this is what I want to share with you today. For me, I'm used to eating cooked vegetables at dinner. That was how I was acculturated socially. My mom always cooked a dinner for us and it always featured cooked vegetables. And so I'm accustomed to having cooked vegetables at the end of the day. And so for us, for Kelly and me, one of our primary meals is what I think of as a protein plus roasted vegetables. I love roasted vegetables. They're really delicious. My favorite is broccoli. Broccoli and cauliflower are probably my two favorites. And we have a nice recipe, especially for the cauliflower, where we mix it with some Indian spices, and it's very nice. But there are a wide variety of vegetables that roast up quite nicely. And the great thing about roasting vegetables is the vegetable retains its character. We cook them in the oven, a hot oven, usually 425. And usually it's 10 minutes aside. If it's potatoes, you'd have to do it, or Brussels sprouts, you have to do a little bit longer. But I really love this. You can put just salt on them. You can add some spices, whatever you like. The kind of dinner that is my go-to is some sort of stew. I call it chili. And when I make chili, I make it in a 1-gallon batch. so that I can, or a very large pot, so that I can then individually portion it and it's always ready to go. I always have chili standing by. I try to put vegetables like onion, zucchini, bell peppers, and mushrooms in my chili. And then, of course, I also add things that kind of count like vegetables. They come out of cans, like canned corn and canned tomatoes. I put those in there also. And when I make chili, I also include 4 kinds of beans that I like. Now, I want to emphasize what's right for me isn't necessarily right for you. So I'm not saying you should do what I do, and there's certainly no judgment associated with this. But what I'd like you to do is please think about your food choices. Go through some sort of process where you say, what are the most nutritious things to eat? And how can I be sure I'm getting that nutrition every single day? And please be intentional about your food choices. And when I say intentional, don't just eat the food that's put in front of us by society. If that's the situation, you would eat lots of food that's not very healthy for you. But be intentional. Make deliberate choices about what you fuel your body with.